Hi there. Have you ever wondered what the plants in PvZ really are? Why did they have eyes, mouths, and, overall, why are they literally alive? And most importantly, how did Dave manage to create them? Today, in this video, I want to present a theory about who the plants actually are, whether Dave is really as good as he seems, and if Zomboss is truly the villain. Get comfortable, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. So, who exactly are the plants in PvZ? In the game, they are portrayed as the side of good, defending our home from zombies. They look like regular plants but with some mutations, such as an abnormally large size, eyes, mouths, and the ability to move. Every plant we see in the game was created by Dave, our crazy neighbor, who provided them to us to fight zombies. Yes, even though Dave appears to be a lunatic, he's not as simple as he seems. He is incredibly intelligent, and you could even call him a genius if he was able to create something like this. But how did he do it? Of course, one might assume that he developed some kind of substance or fertilizer that caused this mutation. But without going into details, what exactly this substance is made of, etc., this theory seems too mundane. There must be a more interesting backstory. To figure this out, we'll need to read the descriptions of some plants in the almanac. It might give us some food for thought. The first plant I want to focus on is the imitator. Its description states, he remembers the zombie wars of '76. Back then, there were no fancy pea shooters or jalapenos. All they had was sheer courage. The pea shooter has a similar description. Pea shooter's parents were really worried when he announced he was joining the army. "Sweetie, that's so dangerous," they said in unison. Pea shooter didn't back down. "Life is dangerous," he said, with a steely gleam in his eye. These descriptions mention some kind of zombie war, which makes sense, considering the whole point of the game is a war between plants and zombies. However, notice that the war mentioned in the imitator's description took place in 1976, while PvZ takes place in 2009. One could assume that plants have existed for a long time and that many battles between plants and zombies occurred before the game's events. But what if all the plants used to be human, and their descriptions are actually distorted memories of their past lives? Maybe the imitator was a soldier in a war in 1976, and when the description mentions, no fancy pea shooters or jalapenos, it could be referring to new weapons and technology. It's also strange that pea shooter has parents, considering he's a plant. Perhaps these are also distorted memories from when he was a human soldier heading off to war. Other plant descriptions also reveal oddly human-like behaviors. Sunflower dances to the rhythm of the earth. Chomper almost did stunts for the Little Shop of Horrors, but his agent asked for too much money. However, Chomper isn't upset. He says it's just part of the business. Ice Shroom isn't frowning because he's unhappy, but due to childhood trauma that paralyzed his facial muscles. Fume Shroom recalls, "I used to work in a bakery making yeast spores. It was a dead-end job. Then one day, Puff Shroom told me about this zombie fighting gig. Now I finally feel like I'm doing something worthwhile." All of these descriptions feel far too human. In the game, we never see plants doing anything other than fighting zombies or standing still. This leads me to believe that they were once human and still retain fragments of their past lives. This paints a terrifying picture. What if Dave conducted experiments to create living plants out of humans? We don't know if these experiments were voluntary. We have no idea where he found these people or how he convinced them to participate. It's entirely possible that he deceived them. This would mean that Dave isn't such a positive character after all. Even though Dave defeated Zomboss at the science fair with his invention, I don't think it was entirely fair. Zomboss studied thanatology and seemingly discovered a way to bring the dead back to life. He presented this breakthrough at the science fair, but he lost to Dave and his living plants. But was that really fair? Zomboss made a real scientific breakthrough. He managed to resurrect the dead. Yes, of course, these revived beings weren't exactly normal humans anymore. They were aggressive and not the same people they were in life. But even so, isn't this a more significant discovery than just creating living plants? Maybe this technique could have been improved to revive people while preserving their minds and personalities. But since Dave won, Zomboss was rejected by society. He grew bitter and started using his method to create a zombie army and take revenge. Maybe he never intended for things to escalate this way, but his deep resentment pushed him over the edge. In this light, Zomboss doesn't seem like such a villain. He's more of a brilliant scientist who made a groundbreaking discovery but was cast aside. And Dave, he might not be as harmless as he appears. If we assume that his plants were created from humans, who might not have even consented to these experiments, that makes him much less of a hero. Moreover, Dave keeps a lot of secrets, as hinted at in PvZ 2 dialogues. Zomboss frequently reveals interesting details about him, such as, Dave is actually his sleeper agent. The time machine, Penny, was built from Zombot parts. We, as players, are simply sharing in Dave's delusions, and there is no actual zombie uprising. Zombies are just like us and are trying to help. The most intriguing part is that Dave never really tries to deny these claims, which makes them seem more likely to be true. Maybe Zomboss is simply trying to turn us to his side. But why couldn't his words be true? Dave is a very strange and mysterious character. We know very little about him, and it's quite possible that things aren't as bright and cheerful as they seem. Of course, this is just a theory, but you have to admit, it makes sense. Let me know in the comments whether you agree with my theory. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that, I'm wrapping up the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to check out my other videos. That's all from me. Thank you for watching, good luck, and goodbye.